That's what I question, return to this.
Hey, Bianca.
No need for it. You just need to explain what it is.
Just explain what
No. Alright, that was this big, that's all I'm gonna do.
I'll let you read
I can.
and explain
I'm
what
gonna
the
send
big
my call
words.
when I do.
And explain what the big words
It must be coming.
Wait, I need to write a 6-page
Actually, it's
presentation. Yeah, that'll be short.
Good evening.
You ready? All right, being 7 o'clock, Tuesday, June 4th, 2024, council chambers. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilman Haycraft. Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Here.
Councilman Cohen.
Here.
Councilman Phillips.
Here.
Councilman Welch.
Here.
Councilman Munger.
Here.
Mayor Lauderman.
Here. There'll be a quorum present. I'll call the meeting to order. Councilman Munger, will you do the invocation?
Lord, we just come before you and we thank you that we're gathered here tonight. We ask you to have your way in this place. Guide us, lead us, give us your wisdom, and may you have your way in us and in this community. We thank you. It's in Jesus' name we pray.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to make the motion, we excuse Councilman Haycraft.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I need an approval for tonight's agenda, please.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Need approval of the minutes, regularly scheduled council meeting May 7th, May 21st, and special call meeting May 14th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Need approval of payroll and claims, second half, May of 2024.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Don't have any public comments? Chief Naki, Mr. Kemper, first up.
Good evening. Most of you all know Kim Craig come before you as Vice Chair of the Hannibal Community Promotions Group, and sitting in front of you, you guys have received probably the information that we are presenting to you for approval for the Hannibal fireworks that we will be shooting off on the 4th of July, and what specifically will be the closure of the Lover's Leap, barring emergency traffic and the residents that do up there. As far as documentation, have all that documentation we have done in previous years as they'll come down to pay for that and present their insurance.
I'll make a motion that we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Longer finale.
All that in time, cash.
I was just going to say, more money.
Everything revolves around that.
I retract my statement.
Mr. Meyer, Union Local 1211 President.
Good evening, everybody. Steve Meyer, President of Local 1211 of the Hannibal Fire Department. I've come up here before, a little different terms this evening. What I've given you guys is a compilation of ideas and things and information based off of the current situation that we have at our local Hannibal Fire Department. So after the first page, the cover page is just a little bit about inflation we're dealing with. These are numbers from the IRS and from the Federal Tax Bureau and places like that. They're actually government officiated, they're not just made up numbers. Dealing with about 19.17% tax increase, or inflation increase from 2020 to today. That means basically that the dollar in 2020 is now $1.19 to make the same purchases. Sum that up. If you flip to the next page in that packet, these are all minimum wage jobs. These are unskilled labor jobs. There's 10 of them. I'm not going to go through them all. I'm going to try and keep this kind of flowing and moving. But you'll notice that on the right side, there is an Excel spreadsheet of current salaries, or salaries starting in 2008 and minimum wage in 2008. And you'll see the comparison in which salaries for a skilled job, such as a firefighter, has only gone up 46% in that time frame of 16 years, whereas minimum wage has gone up 18%. The Missouri average for pay for a firefighter is $51,999, whereas Hannibal is at near $40,000. I don't know that there's a lot of knowledge. You guys know what we do on a day-to-day basis. I'm not going to go through all this. This is for you guys to take home, read, digest. This gives you just a brief oversight on what we do on a day-to-day basis, the services we provide, the training that we go through, and the types of situations that we deal with on a regular basis. Second page after that is our specialty areas that we provide solely for this region, for Hannibal, on top of the title as firefighter and EMT as well. There are some that are very specific to Hannibal, such as the HEAT program. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. That was come up with by one of our very own department members, and he chairheads that, and that is Mark Kemker. Great deal. It's an epidemic. It's a crisis across the nation, and those guys took the time to build a program specifically for our area to combat that crisis. They went above and beyond just the job title of firefighter, above the duties that are listed there, took their own time and effort to create this to better this department and this community. Skipping forward another page. Our job on a day-to-day basis gets busier and busier. In 2011, we would run about 1,800 calls. Skip forward to 2024, we're on track to run 3,060 calls. That is, I believe, a 62% increase in call volume. Our wages have gone up 46%. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, that's a 68% increase. The only year that is an exception to that rule is COVID. We had everything locked down. And we went back to about the same average calls that we ran in 2011 before there were any health crises going on that deterred us from our normal duties. I'd like to skip forward yet another page to talk about the staffing at Hannibal. The full staffing at the Hannibal department should consist of 3 12-man crews, 5 administration, including 1 civilian employee, for a total of 41 employees. Staffing as of 2024, we have 34 on-shift personnel, so that's 11, 12, and 11. You have nobody out on injury, military, or anything like that. Working 24-hour shift rotation, 365 days a year. In 2010, our staffing was cut by 1 firefighter. The savings that the city has incurred from that is around $516,000. That's based on that person being a firefighter their entire time from 2010 until now. That doesn't include any raises, that doesn't include any promotions, any cost of living, anything like that. We lost a second person in 2012. Savings on that, if that person had stayed a firefighter from 2012 until today, $120,000 change. So we're talking almost $1 million in savings. These employees were temporarily not rehired to save the city money. Like I said, that doesn't include any sort of increases that we've gotten over the years, which hasn't been a ton, but it has been something. You'll notice there is a quote down at the bottom from a former councilman that was part of Muddy River News. It says, the increases are in part to attract new hires for police officers and firefighters, as both departments are experiencing a shortage. So this time last year, the shortage was noticed by you guys. Maybe not all of you because you're new here, but it was noticed. And this is just knowledge currently. I'm just trying to let you guys know because I think there's a big disconnect in what everybody, including the public and council, knows that goes on and how we're staffed and run. So I'm going to flip another page for our staffing outlook for 24-25. We currently have 8 employees that are eligible for retirement. Chief, we have 3 assistant chiefs, 2 captains, 1 training officer, and 1 engineer. If these guys were all to leave at their eligibility, which all of them are eligible this year with the exception of 1, so that'd be 7, we would lose 175 years of experienced personnel. That leaving the entire department, the rest of the 29 guys there, with 168 years of experience across the board. That averages out to 5.79 years of experience for the guys that are saving the town. On average, it costs about $22,500 a person to train. And if everybody were to retire this year that could, that's about $180,000 of unexpected costs. This is not including the guys that are currently looking for new employment. I can't stress this enough, but that loss of experience is priceless. In conjunction with that first slide, we've got 14 employees that are eligible by age and qualifications. They're eligible for Quincy and other surrounding departments. Quincy Fire has 20 eligible employees for retirement in the next 24 months. So they're going to be looking to fill boots on the ground just as much as we are. The only exception to that is Quincy starts at $54,000, whereas we start at $40,000. That is a $14,000 raise to go 17 miles across the river. In addition to that, Quincy Fire has created 3 new additional positions and added $3.5 million to their fire department budget to better serve the community. Just saying this because I know there's a huge disconnect. There's knowledge spread to you guys. I want you guys to understand that I'm not up here crying about it, but without your guys' understanding of what's going on and how this plays out, we're never going to get to a agreement or make it to where this is going to be a sustainable thing for us. Like I said earlier, it's about $22,000 to train an employee. If we have our other 14 guys that take another job this year, we're looking at $500,000 in training costs. Not to mention loss of experience. And in addition to that, talking about the 14 people that are eligible to leave, since I started in 2017, we've had 22 people leave for other job opportunities. And I would say 97% of those have been financial, not because they had a disdain for the department or the guys or anything else for that matter. But talking about this, these voids in experienced employment are going to have a detrimental and compounding effect on our department staff. This is going to transpire to a lack of eligible candidates for not only promotion, but sufficiently trained staff to manage and run stations safely and effectively. This is ultimately going to probably lead to the closure of a station or stations, condensing of how things are run, which is going to be a disservice to our citizens. And not only does it disservice, but all of those factors jeopardize the safety of us as employees and the citizens that we serve. So there's several options. There's several ways to look at doing different things. I've listed a few of them that we've got on here. Increasing our starting wage to a median salary that meets somewhere in the middle of where a Quincy salary is, the Missouri state average is, and between where we're at now at $46,000. Transitioning our schedule from a 24-48 rotation to a 24-72. and returning to 3 12-man crews. I'm sure most of you guys understand we do work 24 hours a day. And in comparison to your average 8-hour-a-day work job, we work 2,900 hours a year. That'd be the equivalent of somebody working a job and a half. Time away from our homes, families, lives. Simply to put it, the work to life ratio is not really there. Because by the time you work a second job to afford to live in today's economy, putting in 32, 34,000 hours a year, only so many hours in a year that you're awake. On the very back of it, this is just taken from the city's audit that's sent into the state government as they do on a yearly basis. I don't have a complete and total understanding of it, but by the numbers that were sent in by the city, it shows that the city has a combined fund balance of $17.9 million. I know John Ling has come up here and talked about it. I don't know where he got his numbers from, but this is directly from financial audit the city sends into the state. This is an increase of 61% or $6.8 million from last year's combined fund balance of $11.1 million. Of that fund balance, $10.1 million is unassigned and available for spending at the city's discretion. The remainder of the fund balance is legally restricted, committed, or assigned, which limits the availability of these resources. And I understand that you guys have capital projects and everything else that go into this. We've discussed that a little bit, but I think there's money there that we can make something happen. And to add to the retention part of this, this is a resignation letter. One of my good friends that left the department in 2021. He sent it to me because he knew I was coming here today, and he knows the struggles that we do on a daily basis. I didn't have enough time to print out 8 copies of this, so I'm just going to read it to you guys. I hope it resonates with you a little bit. This is Alex White. He was a former engineer. He was employed from 2012 to 2021. It says, "To whom it may concern. As some of you may or may not know, I served the city of Hannibal for the last 8+ years, but tendered my resignation for employment somewhere else. I would like to first thank Hannibal for providing me with 8 years of experience, training, and life lessons in the fire department that will continue to serve me throughout my life and my new career. I was raised around this department. My grandfather was a member of the department for 31 years. This was the place I wanted to work and spend my career. Hannibal Fire Department was the only place I tested for, and I was ecstatic to find out that I had made it through all the pre-employment qualifications and got a job offer. I began my career like anyone else, just happy to be a part of the department and excited to come to work every day. However, those days are long gone. I wanted to write counsel, not to put the city down, department down, or any other members either, but maybe to open your eyes to the disconnect between the two. I want to reiterate, the views expressed in this letter are mine alone. I am in no way speaking for anybody else that works at Hannibal Fire. Since I was hired in 2012, 22 people, including myself, have come and gone for various reasons. Some left for retirement, some for personal reasons, and a large group of those left because they felt other employment opportunities provided them with a better workplace opportunity and or better financial security. It used to be that people would openly talk about taking a pay cut to come to Hannibal. I was one of those guys myself. I took a giant pay cut to come here and work because it's a rock solid career. However, we have people not only leaving for other fire department jobs, but any other job they can find to get away from. I'll be the first to admit that I fall into the group that is leaving for better opportunity employment. Didn't get into this line of work to chase money. If money, I spent the last 8+ years here, I would have been seeking other employment during my career ahead of time. I was dedicated to this department and hadn't tried for other departments this last testing cycle. At the point I'm writing this, as much as I hate to say it because of how much I like the department and the people who are there, I would caution anybody looking to get into the fire service before applying to Hannibal. There are several reasons I wouldn't recommend it. Low pay, being short 2 employees, morale that's caused because of those 2 things. While it's not an intolerable place to work, a lot has changed just that amount of time that I've been with the city. I would attribute some of those to COVID, but it was trending in that direction long before COVID came around. That said, Hannibal Fire held to a different standard than other agencies during that COVID pandemic, and that is more on the employees. Training used to be an all-the-time occurrence. Again, COVID shut some of that down, and it's been replaced
fix all these issues, but I know that if something isn't addressed, the retention problem this department already has. From my position, during the course of my employment, the feeling that I have had is that the city views the department not as an asset, but as a. However, of 43,094 departments in the country that the ISO rated in 2018, only 1,787 of those were rated as an ISO rating of 2 or above, which puts Hannibal's department in the roughly top 4% nationwide. I don't feel we're treated or viewed as a top 4% nation department. The people don't consider being an employee here as they've been working with the department with that skill set. Instead, it's on the back burner, told that there's not enough money in our budget or needs requests, whether that being getting back our 2 employees that we short, keeping our trucks in work, trying to fix broken pay scale, or trying to find some benefits to supplement the low starting pay that our career earnings and pensions are based around. Instead, since I've been here, our pension contributions continue to rise, taking more money out of our pockets. The city has raised the price of insurance and deductibles. There is no more payout when you retire. New hires are getting less and less insurance coverage after they retire. You have continually worked us short, but complained about people having built up too much comp time. However, you don't have the staffing levels to allow people to use that time they've accrued. Yet we see in the newspapers, the city is spending money on this or that for a project. Left counting how many times those dollars could have been brought back to staff or any of the other litany of issues that could fix for us. With that being said, I understand that some of these projects funded via grant, but it doesn't make it any easier to read, especially when we know that there's a percentage of that coming out of the budget somewhere. The biggest thing of all is the experience that keeps walking out of the door. The influx of new hires that can't replace experience. When I first joined the department, it wasn't uncommon to have 60 or 70 years of combined experience at the downtown station on any given day. Now you're lucky to have 40 years of experience combined for all 3 stations. Those years of experience are irreplaceable and priceless. Closing, during my time at the city, it always felt as if there was a disconnect between what the city thinks the fire department does and what we do as a department and know we're capable of doing. There's a saying that I believe describes the environment the fire department operates in perfectly. We've done so much for so long, so little, now we can practically do anything with nothing. If you take nothing else away from reading this, at least you know currently you have an elite group of men and women ready to tackle the city's problems at any moment's notice. Respectfully, Alex White. So to dabble a little bit more with the disconnect of communication that it seems that we don't have, not for lack of anybody's efforts, I don't think. But in any city government, the workforce is the backbone of the organization. From the city manager's office to the fire department, the employees are the driving force behind the efficient functioning of the city. Employee retention, professional development, fostering a culture of professionalism and courtesy aspects directly impact the city's operations and overall success. Professionalism and courtesy are the foundational elements that contribute to a positive and effective public service. It is essential for city leaders to set clear expectations for professional conduct and provide training on interpersonal communication and conflict. Additionally, recognizing and supporting these acts of courtesy and professionalism, these behaviors across the organization. I understand this is a two-way street. Equal effort from both sides. But I feel like with the lack of communication, this breeds misunderstandings and productivity. City management should prioritize open and transparent communication channels to keep the employees informed about organizational changes, policies, and initiatives. Regular staff meetings, emails, newsletters, and accessible feedback mechanisms can facilitate two-way communication, helping address employee concerns in a timely manner. I'm sure that some of you have seen the email that I sent. Make sure that I didn't know. Back to this employee retention. Employee retention is a critical concern for any city government. The costs associated with hiring and training new employees can be substantial. Like I said, this year it could be anywhere from $180,000 to $680,000, depending on how the cookie crumbles. To address this, city management should prioritize creating a positive work environment, recognizing the employee contributions, providing competitive compensation and benefits. Moreover, conducting I would like to see us build a strong relationship by collaborating between all the departments, including management themselves, and that is absolutely essential for operations. Specifically in fostering a strong relationship with the fire department is critical for public safety and emergency response. City management should facilitate regular joint meetings, emails, training exercises, and establish clear lines of communication and recognize the contributions of the fire department's personnel. By nurturing this partnership, the city can ensure a positive relationship with the fire department and all the other city employees as well. In conclusion, addressing tension, other stuff, I can't say enough about just the disconnect. I feel like not enough knowledge spread, and I don't know a good way to do it. And I'm open to figuring this out. I know it's been a lot of information. It's been a lot of talking, mostly by me. But I know with the second reading of the budget coming up this evening, there's another disconnect that I would like to discuss, maybe make light of. A lot of you on council know that obviously we have a collective bargaining agreement with the city. In that agreement, that second page as I sent you guys, or handed you guys behind that PowerPoint, you'll skip to the middle of that, between the signatures and that, it says economic items, it may be open on an annual basis. We discussed a minimum of 90 days prior. An agreement will be finalized a minimum of 30 days prior to passage of the city's budget. I believe tonight, the second reading would be the passage of that budget. Wrong?
You're correct.
I don't believe
The second.
that would be the finalizing of the budget for the city. That being said, there's not been an agreement reached between the fire department, local city, for our annual opening of our economic items. I encourage you guys to understand that this is an agreement, and maybe news to some of you guys. I don't know if any of you guys have been aware of this.
No,
Not new, or you didn't know about it.
I was not unaware of the 30-day prior.
That's kind of the
language.
disconnect I'm trying to fill the void here. So I can email you guys a copy of this to read through. But that being said, voting on a budget this evening without having met the needs of the contract, I think would be in judgment, as it violates this contract. I have an email that said you guys were needing more time to discuss this live. Has there been any discussion on matters?
Well, as you know, the Senate failed to in helping us establish a public safety. So that kind of puts us behind the,
I understand.
and we're currently sitting at almost $400,000. As you see that, and that's an ongoing.
I understand.
Part of that, 10% increase that you last year.
Actually, they received
11.
11.09.
So you're looking at, was it 700?
For the increase in, it's around 7.
It's about 500.
Okay.
About 500.
That was roughly 17% on those two pay raises.
It was 11.09 fire average, because they came up, if you remember, they came up to a dollar amount, not just a 10%
Right.
flat like the other.
And this recent request is roughly 7%.
Cover the cost of the insurance. That was our initial request. That never gotten back to us.
Our starting pay from 40 to 46 is 15%.
That is correct. That was going to be our initial,
That's
and I understand.
That's
But
a-
this has been made months.
6% at this point.
This has been made months ago.
So
I'm just got a chance to give it to you guys. So
here's the thing, and understand this. You guys are probably the most professional professional fire department. Things that you do and the things that you accomplish are above board. Nobody can say anything. But when you start comparing Hannibal and Quincy, it's apples to oranges. They have 4 times as many people as we have. They generate sales tax and property taxes
I don't
at a
disagree.
higher rate. So their rate is, of course, going to be.
I understand. I was trying to point out the fact
No, I
that I wasn't trying to compare us. I know
No.
that's an unfair.
Nope, I understand perfectly, and I appreciate everything you've got in here, and it gives me a starting point of things to look at. But, I mean, currently, there's nothing. I mean, I know there's a payroll increase, which means these guys are 1.5.
If we go back.
So, and I know the insurance thing, that's different can of worms that should have been taken care of over a period of time, not.
Right, and that's the unavoidable facts. The current, I'm just trying to work on the communication and the disconnect of information. I wasn't trying to surprise anybody.
No.
I know there's a lot of information that I don't expect everybody to understand or know or seek out. But until it comes out and get it out there for people to look into and find out about, we're in this. And nobody knows what we're doing.
Steve, I got a couple things.
Sure.
Good and bad. You brought up this statement, big disconnect, and also what the city thinks on our police or fire department. Well, I don't agree with that. In this last year's raise negotiation, the presence and the information that came out at council and at public meetings, I thought brought the fire department to the front. I think it's incorrect to discuss and use terms like a big disconnect. I don't believe that's true. Everybody, virtually everybody I know when I meet on this council and in the citizens, there is not a big disconnect. I think everyone's well aware of the fire department and their commitments and their situations. That's just one thing. You mentioned former Mayor Lang's statement on the budget, and that was a huge disservice on his part. He had invented numbers out of whole cloth. It had no bearing and was highly inaccurate. So you're mentioning a lot of things that we've gone over in great detail. Reputation, appearances. I'd also like to, and I think that your reputation and the appearance of fire and police are held in the highest regard. So the disconnect might be in the communication between City Hall, but I don't believe it's by reputation or appreciation at all. I think our first responders are probably the most venerated, and respected members of our community. Using, again, big disconnect, I simply can't agree with that kind of language. And like Mayor Louderman just mentioned, I understand that you're negotiating a good faith with a union contract, and I paid attention to all of your literature, cost of living, and all those breakdowns, but that does not change the fact that the city of Hannibal is in a deficit right now. So that means is everybody has to give up, everybody has to bend, everybody has to know and understand that. So that's just, with Mayor Lang's statement and the fact that we are running a deficit, is going to make these negotiations extremely hard. Extremely hard. And just like former Councilman Franke said in your quote, that pay is the bottom line. Well, that's the bottom line for the city in almost every aspect. Pay, budget, and finance is the bottom line. Almost every single thing that happens in the entire city of Hannibal. So that statement that former Councilman Franke made applies directly to this city government as well. And I'm only going to make one small comparison. You know, I have not read your contract, and I have not read the language of the contract, but as you mentioned here just recently, you have not read our budget. Did I misunderstand that?
No, I've seen the budget.
Okay. Well, I think that
His,
budget would speak for
he
itself.
said he didn't understand some of it. Saying.
So I just wanted to clear up a little bit of language that you're using, that was used, because I simply don't agree with it. And the fact that we're running a deficit is going to make this an extremely difficult negotiation. And the last thing is the communication between City Hall and fire and police. Do you have any suggestions on? You mentioned a monthly staff meeting.
It doesn't even have to be a staff meeting. I settle for an email. That much easier. You don't have to get people in places. You can do it from comfort of home. You can do it on your off time.
But we do have
We do have a staff meeting that the fire chief attends every week.
I understand the fire chief does that. However, the fire chief is not a member of.
And just for clarification, I did reach out to you to go over the budget, and we did meet and go over the budget.
Budget. That's not a negotiation.
That was me reaching out to you because you'd expressed an interest in it.
When is your contract? When is the union contract?
2027.
Steve, I'd like to add that this council is not apprised of what's been going on with the health insurance either. You know, sure. And the council's not aware of the differences between, you know, the city employees and the Board of Public Works employees. No, you didn't, but I know that you know that there's a difference, and I only know there's a difference from attending staff meetings. And, you know, that's part of the rift. I'm uncomfortable that only city employees sit on that benefits trust board. There's 2 open seats that are supposed to be from outsiders. And I just am kind of at a disadvantage that those seats aren't filled by somebody that's outside looking in from the public's interest, that they're all filled from, you know, self-serving people, so to speak.
I feel like that's a little unfair. There's 2.
Well, I'm sorry. No, I don't mean for it to sound that way, but you're determined.
We just had 1 leak.
Okay, you're determining your own plan, and you don't have anybody from the outside.
I would agree. I would love
watching
to have
over.
somebody from the medical area, maybe somebody from the financial. We do
Sure.
have 2 at-large spots open on the board. One just recently vacated, Mr. Rappin. So we do need 2 at-large board members if you know anybody that's interested, but it's not because we haven't tried to.
It's not an easy thing to find people to serve.
No, it's not.
Simply for it makes it harder over the last couple of years, the shenanigans that's went on with the city
And you would have
Stuff
to
that
say
makes it
that
hard.
the health insurance is a generous plan.
it's a platinum.
Yes,
Even where it sits right now, it's still
yes.
a lot better than my plan.
Steve, having said what I said earlier, I want you to know I still am very sympathetic and support fire and police. I didn't mean to make that a negative
It was not
commentary.
No, I understand.
And the
Maybe
good
I
faith-
used the word disconnect wrongly. I'm looking at the communication aspect of it. And communication.
Yeah.
So if I send an email out and it's 5:10 and I don't hear anything back, then 2 weeks later I get, waiting, and it's 2 weeks later and I still don't hear anything back, that just breeds that feeling of, well, that's the disconnect
I
was
understand.
referring to. Not the reputation, not the gratitude that everybody expresses to us. Disconnect in knowledge and reassurance.
Understood. I hope we can negotiate in calm, orderly fashion with a little bit more information that has come forth.
I would love to provide any information I can, but there's no way to catch all you guys at once to do
And I
that.
did share with you the information that I had, which has not changed
Right.
since the email that I sent you.
Right. But like I said, knowing that no information sitting in the dark, it just feels like it's just going to be done. And it's going to be like your task. You know what you get, and ends up kind of what Alex said in his letter. It's been year after year the same treatment. That's the morale thing that kills the guys around here. Go up and normally we don't ask for a bunch. Last year we lucked out, and it worked out favorably for everybody in the city. The entire deficit problem, we asked for that and then it gave to everybody, and not be, unjustly said that we are the fault of that. That's how that has been brought to me more than once, that you guys' raise caused this deficit. Our portion of that, yes, we did cause that, but give it to everybody, not our decision. We didn't campaign for that. That's that disconnect in communication. That was more or less where I'm at with it. Like I said, it wasn't a reputation thing. It wasn't a gratitude thing. It was just, we get lumped into things, no communication. It ends up becoming, well, you guys are the right of the stepchild. Not an asset. Negativity spreads like a plague. I know that. In a firehouse, anywhere from 8 to 12 guys a day, 6 good news, any news, anything, good, bad, or otherwise. Big kids, we have take it, we don't care. That's the disconnect I'm trying to.
Thanks for bringing that up. I'll be paid more attention in the future. So thank you.
Thank you.
You.
All right, got a couple things under mine. First reading for recommendation of reappointment, Airport Commission, Greg Bauer, reappointment for a term to expire September 2027. Then I also have a letter of support that I need to make a motion to authorize myself to sign the letter of support for the I-72 designation from 6136 to 24 at the Rocket.
Do you not need to vote on the appointment for the airport commission?
It's just,
Okay,
I'll make a motion to sign that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right. All right. Councilman Munger, Councilman Phillips.
So, a couple weeks ago, driving through the where everyone's going over on South Side now, on South Main Street, that area just is that much more prevalent as many people are passing through there. Driving through there, and I noticed is like that's one area that we have that is just very underutilized, that we're not able to really do much with that. And so just kind of thinking about some things we can do, and looking into municipal RV parks. And there's several in our area, one being up in Canton, and was looking at that. And I'm looking at that as a model for something that could be down in that South Main area on the other side of Bear Creek. If we're able to put RV pads, electric, water, and it would be right there on Sedalis Trailhead, 3 blocks from the downtown. So anyone coming in would have a good little spot right located to the downtown area. Looking at the Canton one, and I was speaking with one of their councilmen today, and they have a well-established facility there, but they don't have bathrooms, they don't have shower houses. It's just strictly the RV pads there. And I think they might have a porta potty that they bring in or something. But they are bringing in, he said, $47,000 a year. So I mean, that's quite a good little bit for investment that they have. And I was looking at that and coming to the council and speaking with Charlie and speaking with Andy quite a bit on this as well. And we're just looking for the council's support to continue with this, to research it a little bit more and actually come up with a plan to present possibly in August. Charlie, you have anything you want to add to that?
I know that Mayor Pro Tem Dobson did a straw poll of the registered voter citizens, and
The 3 people that I did catch down there during the day, of the 3, none of them were opposed to having something like that in their neighborhood.
And I think if it's done, I think if it's done properly and in moderation, we're not suggesting a full use of the bottoms, not suggesting, a big mega lot, but small, incremental, so as we could test the waters in terms of return. So we could choose a small number, a medium, or a large number of boat lots. But we are going to try to get a draft for the council's approval. And it would be in an incremental basis. So I don't want anyone to imagine a mass wash of, crazed RVers. But we still have a lot of work to do, but it won't be like that. It'll be a small and incremental growth. And that way we can also test whether, the viability of it in smaller or medium fashion.
So question, you're looking at providing electric and water at the sites?
Correct.
So you'd be
That'd be the two
speaking with the
essentials.
Board of Public Works to see what that cost is?
I've got unofficial engagement with those people.
Okay.
And that'll be part of the presentation that Councilman Munger and I are going to provide as many hard numbers as we can to the council.
Very good.
That would be underground utilities and concrete pads.
Can't be concrete.
Cannot be? It'll be gravel.
How property have to be.
Okay.
Requirements for FEMA-owned property and/or floodplain is undoubtedly an obstacle, but Councilman Munger's done quite a bit of research already, and I don't think it's insurmountable.
No, I don't think I don't think it's a problem.
So yes, we'll have to follow those FEMA guidelines, and whatever the FEMA guidelines are, pivot and adjust accordingly prior to the presentation, so you'll know what utilities are, what startup is. But yeah, only electric and water, which I believe is there in part.
There's a dump station that's just right there at the ball fields, as well as down at, I believe that's closed off now, but the other dump station is down at the wastewater treatment.
A comprehensive presentation will provide quite a few answers, but it's a pretty exciting use of idle land and a very good way to generate revenue for the city.
I don't think we need a motion to have you guys go forward. Just do what you're going to do, and then when you get it together, bring it forward, and we can go from there.
With confidence. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Lisa? Yeah.
Good evening. So I have before For you, first, recommendation of appointments for Rose Gaddis for Planning and Zoning Commission for an appointment for a term to expire June of 2028. And then for Daryl McCoy for Board of Public Works, appointment for a term to expire July of 2028. And then continuing on, recommendation of reappointment for Steve Burrell for Hannibal Parks and Recreation Board for reappointment for a term to expire July of 2027.
Right.
So then the next item I have is Stoll School had reached out and requested a letter of support from the mayor for a grant that they are applying for playground equipment for the school. And so a request to authorize him to sign that letter.
Make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign a letter of support for Stoll school playground equipment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And the final item I have before you this evening is the renewal of Canton Marine towing lease. And the only change to the lease agreement from the current one, which expires June 30th of 2024, is the automatic extension provision of 1-year increments for an additional 5 years.
Is that for the same cost
Yes.
as it has been?
Yes. They do a lot of things for the city. I know that they definitely do a lot of things for the city, and then they will also break up ice in the river when it gets bad.
How long has it been cost? Cost of everything goes up.
3
Do we
years.
want to increase, possibly think about that? Maybe not right now, but
In
at
the
what point in time
future,
would we?
yeah, and that might be a possibility.
Increased it quite a bit
Yes.
this last time around. It had been
We
at a
doubled
very low, yeah, we doubled it this last time around. But it had been admittedly had been fairly low the contract before.
Okay. Definitely don't want to lose their service, but cost of everything going up, the city could certainly use some more.
And there's a resolution to follow.
I have 2 ordinances. First one is our budget for our current fiscal year 2020. Adjustments made to our budget, various funds and line items, really due to unforeseen costs, increased costs, and that we second ordinance is the payroll ordinance. As salaries for the employees, salaries already included.
Have bill number 24-015 and 24-016. Anybody have any questions for her while she's up here? Run. Trish?
Good evening. In front of you, I have a request for approval to do a bid waiver utilizing the vendors below for media purchases for tourism advertising efforts up to $200,000 during the fiscal year 2025. HCBB purchases advertising through a variety of specific vendors that cannot be competitively bid. Unlike, for example, Sharpie highlighters, where you can get bids on the same product from multiple vendors, you just can't do that with advertising. So if you want to advertise on Facebook, you have to pay what Facebook says you have to pay for that. So I've listed every media outlet that we've used in the past and any potential ones that we might want to use in fiscal year 25 below. Just seeking approval to spend bed tax money for this.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, now we have Resolution 2510-24. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 2510-24, a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign a 3-year lease agreement with 5 one-year extension options with Canton Marine Towing for use of docking site located at the Hannibal Riverfront. Mayor Pro Tem Dobson,
Yes.
Councilman Cohen,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Welch,
Yes.
Councilman Munger,
Yes.
and Mayor Lauterman.
Yes. I declare Resolution 2510-24 duly approved and adopted on this. Now I have Bill number 24-014. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a second and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bill number 24-014, an ordinance approving the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget and appropriating to the various departments, boards, commissions, and agencies of the city government of the city of Hannibal, Missouri for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. Mayor Pro Tem Dobson,
Yes.
Councilman Cohen,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Welch,
Yes.
Councilman Munger,
Yes.
Mayor Lauterman.
Yes. I declare Bill number 24-014 duly approved and adopted on this day. And I have Bill 24-015. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bill 24-015, an ordinance amending the City of Hannibal's fiscal year 2023-2024 budget, number 1, by authorizing increases to the general fund's assessment, city hall, collector, DPW, elections, landfill, police, and airport department appropriations, and supplemental appropriations for downtown TIF, sales tax cap, riverfront, DARE, CDBG, catastrophic and unused sick fund expenses as amended. First reading.
We have Bill number 24-016. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a first reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Bill 24-016, an ordinance to pay officers and employees of the City of Hannibal, Missouri for the fiscal year 2024-2025. First reading.
And now I need a motion to go into closed session in accordance with RSMO 610-0211 to include myself, city council, city manager, city attorney, city clerk, and Bianca Quinn, the financial director.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson?
Yes.
Councilman Cohen?
Yes.
Councilman Phillips?
Yes.
Councilman Welch?
Yes.
Councilman Munger?
Yes.
Mayor Lauterman?
Yes. Thank you.